I'm trying to change my beliefs about money. I've realized for a long time that I've always believed that you had to work hard for money. And it was exciting to get money incrementally. But I'm trying to change
money
this.
that comes into your experience, those are thoughts turning to things. And the absence of them are the things that your thoughts have turned to. And the presence of money are the things that thoughts have turned to. In other words, everything that you're living, these are the things that your thoughts have turned to. And so if you're living what you want, then change no thoughts. But if there are improvements to be made, then change the thoughts. Because you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. The presence or the absence of wanted or unwanted, depending upon what your point of focus is. The thing that we like most to say in this conversation is that our words are not nearly as important to you as the way the universe responds to your thoughts. And so we've been saying for quite a while that the way to know what things are coming from your thoughts are two ways. Wait till they show up, or pay attention to the way you feel. And after a while, you'll get so you know what this feeling is going to yield you. You'll get so you know what a feeling of apprehension is going to yield you. You'll get so you know what a feeling of worry is going to yield to you. You'll get so you know what a sustained feeling of exhilaration will yield to you. And so the thing that is most important about this conversation is that most humans are having feelings in responses to the thoughts that have already turned to the things. So they're creating by default, turning thoughts to things, and then responding to the things and thinking that they're stuck with that emotion, not realizing that they could conjure an emotion and change the things that the thoughts are turning to.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nugget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One other question that I had for you. I guess a few months ago I was laying in bed at night just relaxing and in a pretty good space, not asleep, just sort of meditating, and all of a sudden I heard my name called out. It was very loud, and it was so startling that I had to sit up and look around to see if there was anyone in the room. Did I imagine that? Or, I mean, to me that...
You translated a vibration into a thing.
Ah, okay. I felt like it was a wake-up call. But, yeah. No.
All these questions that you just asked just now, and then you gave us an example of the answer.
Okay. Awesome. Thank
Really
you.
good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I just came up with a question this morning. For the most part, people were saying, well, what question would you ask? And I said, I don't know enough to ask a question. But this morning I came up with one because I've been sitting here listening to all these, not all, many of these people come up and say, my inner being told me this, or my inner being wants that. And it's as if they're having a conversation with their inner being. And
it's some of that thought turning to something tangible. It is a tuning into something that then is becoming more present, more obvious, more defined.
Okay. I was just feeling like either I was so amazingly attuned that I didn't need a conversation, or I was amazingly deaf.
Well, often in your attunement, you don't feel like two entities. Right. So
that makes sense.
That's a better feeling answer, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Yeah.
That's all.
No one's ever always there. And so it's nice to be able to recognize the degree to which you are in attunement. Would you describe yourself as an inspired being?
Yes.
We would too. Would you describe yourself as an intuitive being?
Yes.
Have you described yourself as someone who has inspiration? Well, they all go together, don't they?
Yeah.
So in some cases, there's a little bit of humility. You're not allowing yourself to acknowledge the fullness of who you are. When you say to a child who's rambunctious, you're full of yourself, that's a compliment. But adults don't usually mean it as a compliment. They mean you need to suppress yourself more. You need to behave more so that you don't disrupt the atmosphere around me. But when someone is full of themselves, then that's what happens. So what is your artistic bent?
I'm real good at stick figures. I'm more of an engineer than an artist.
Are you an inspired engineer?
Sure, I'll take that.
Well, it's worth acknowledging. In other words, do you just use some stable mathematics and just keep applying them over and over in mundane ways?
Oh, no, I try and get different applications for...
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. And you've been doing it long enough that it feels so natural to you that you don't even acknowledge that you're doing it. You don't realize how many others are looking on with clarity and interest and eagerness and focusing with you, and that you are the receiver, you are the last end so far translator of all of that into something, but that is what's happening.
Thank you.
Yeah. Something more? Really good. You're full of yourself.
I am. I have so much that I want to ask this time that I'm overwhelmed.
Well, don't let that happen. Overwhelmed is asking for more than you believe you can allow. And so, does that ever really happen?
No.
There's no reason to be overwhelmed about this moment in time. I'm sorry, your time's up.
I want, if you would help me to understand, I've been more and more trying to tune to the vibrations or feel how my inner being is telling me, go this way or don't go that way. And I'm having a hard time.
Well, then you're just not happy enough.
Tell me more.
Well, we want to playfully intrigue you. When you get tuned to the frequency of the guidance that's flowing, then there's no question about which way to go. You just follow the guidance that's flowing. But if it feels like, should I do this, should I do this, then you're trying to make a decision before you're really tuned. It would be like, and these are scanty analogies, but it would be like trying to decide what song you want to listen to on the radio before you've even found a station that plays that kind of music. And so it's the tuning that you're working on for a little while, and that's fine. It's like, again, the analogy that we had about trying to vacuum the house, and you're moving the vacuum around, but you haven't plugged it in yet. And so you're having some experience, and you are having some effect, but it's not the effect that you hope for. So more tuning yourself to the energy, just a little more, just a little more, just a little more.
It feels, I feel.
When your desire is stronger than your ability to allow it to flow, that's what that feels like. We've been describing that as trying too hard. We describe that as getting the cart before the horse, so to speak. It just means lighten up and stop trying to define yourself by your results and instead define yourself by your emotion. That's a nugget. So it's like if someone says, what have you accomplished this week? Happiness. What do you do in this life? How do you label yourself? As a joy seeker? I mean, what do you do? What do you do? I seek joy. No, but what do you do? Toward what end? Joy. But, all right, let me break it down for you more humanly. How do you justify your existence? Through joy. Through happiness. Well, what are you getting done? I'm joyful. But what does that lead to? Happy things. But what are you getting done? I'm happy. Justify your existence to me by telling me what you're doing. You see what we're getting at?
That's what I seem to be bumping up against quite a bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
So
who is demanding of you your explanation of your justification of your existence?
It's me.
Yeah. Only you.
Yeah.
Only you. And in doing so, you're getting crossways of your inner being who's not asking for any justification. So when you make demands on yourself, as you stand in your now in an attitude of not enoughness, you can't get there from there. It's like pushing a noodle. Yeah. So
Yes.
what to do? What to do? Just back it up a little bit, slow it down a little more. Think in terms of thoughts turning themselves to things and you being in on it when they do. Nugget. Thoughts will turn themselves to things. You just tune in. Sort of in the same way that you don't get in your vehicle and make the pistons go and pull the belts and pulleys. You get in, you guide. Yes?
Yeah, that's it.
You want to talk about something more specific? You want to talk about something where you want to move your emotion? Molding the clay really is moving the emotion.
Yeah.
Take a subject.
I always have rampages of, like, I'm trying to finish a book right now. And sometimes things flow and then it seems to stop flowing.
Yeah, well, when it flows, write it down. Otherwise, do other things.
And when I do other things, though, then I feel like I'm not, I'm a failure then.
Well, then
Like
go
I'm not.
write crap down.
Just write shit.
Yeah, I'm not inspired, I'm not tapped in, but if I don't write something, I'm failing. So life sucks and then you die.
That moved it.
If you were a chef, would you go into an empty kitchen to cook?
No.
Esther tries it, it never works. It never works. If you were an artist, would you apply your craft with no canvas or no clay or no stone or no chisel?
No.
By the time that you get ready to turn whatever it is into something, you have sort of laid some groundwork, yes?
Yeah.
And so the groundwork is just getting happy.
So then therein is where I'm trying to listen to.
You're trying to write a book so you can be happy, instead of being happy so a book can flow. That's all. And you are often, so happy. Esther was so irritated about this conversation in the early days. She'd say, just give it to me and then I'll be happy. Give me what I want and then I'll be happy. But it doesn't work that way, does it?
No.
That's why there are so many terrible, terrible books.
It's good. Thank you
Enough?
very much. Thank
Really
you.
good.
Thank you.